Welcome to the Fleet Geeks podcast. We're here to help develop fleet and transport professionals. Do you want to progress and develop your skills and knowledge? We promise to bring lively conversation and debate around interesting issues and keep you bang up to date with changes in our awesome industry. The Fleet Geeks are a community of professionals, and if you enjoy the podcast, why not join the discussion for free in the Fleet Geek community over on Facebook. Hello and welcome to this podcast. Today I wanted to talk about FORS version 7. It's coming in January next year, January 2025. So what's changing? What do we need to know? If you go onto the FORS website, there is a PDF document that you're able to download, and you're able to see which areas of the standard are changing and amending. But I have some highlights during this podcast for you to think about and consider. So version 7 is coming. It's coming 2nd of January 2025. We are now aware of some of the changes that are being made to the podcast. I'm recording a podcast. By the way, excuse the fan in the background. There it is. The fan in the background. We're having a bit of a heat wave late June as I record this. So that gives you a bit of an indication. You've got 6 months to get prepared for version 7 for the standard change. So M4. There's a bit of a change on M4. Let's get cracking. It requires operators to have a driver declaration detailing any previous work-related collisions. So we're going to need to make sure that our drivers report their work-related collisions, make sure that we have a record of those, and make sure that is amended anytime there is a work-related collision. So that's going to be a new system for you to introduce within your organization if you don't already operate it. But actually good practice. I think not bad practice. So from my opinion, I think that's a good update. I think we should do that. Version 1 is now going to align with the MIVR, which is part of the DVSA MIVR process. So we're now looking at a procedure for all vehicle recalls must be in place. This is also part of the earned recognition scheme. So we need to have for V1 around vehicle recalls, inspections and maintenance shall align with the guide to maintaining roadworthiness. This is a big one where we don't really know the full extent yet of what will be asked for. However, we are going to need to make sure we've got to have recalls. So step 1 and step 2, making sure our inspections align with the guide to maintaining roadworthiness. And just FYI, it's really worth digging into those inspections that you're receiving from your maintenance provider, because I regularly come across in the workshop audits that I do that inspection sheets don't meet the criteria for guide to maintaining roadworthiness. So get your service sheet, get the guide to maintaining roadworthiness, go through, check, see if your service sheets are aligning with those, and then make a record to show that you've audited and checked it and which vehicles you've audited. Because what then happens is if there's sampling and sampling finds that there's an error on one, at least you can demonstrate that you've got a management system in place to show that you audit them. So I would record the sheets that you audit and from what work provider, and I'll probably do that on an annual basis. Okay, so top tip from me for version 1. Version 2, your walk-around check shall include load and load restraints. So that's obviously a clarification previously. I would expect that most of your walk-around checks to include this already. However, just make sure that it does, and make sure it does for your vans, as well as passenger vehicles as well, where needed. Okay. So that's part of V2. V7, interesting one. Tyre policy shall match the requirements set in the Guide to Maintaining Roadworthiness.
Hello, it's Shani from Flagship Partners. We are really proud to sponsor the Fleet Geeks podcast. If you need expert advice or training for your fleet business, make Flagship Partners your first choice. We are really excited to announce the launch of our Transport Manager Academy. With expert development for fleet leaders, we offer fully accredited initial Transport Manager CPC training, CPC refresher, and operator license awareness training, as well as mentoring, support, and professional development beyond the qualification. Our vision is to develop elite fleet professionals.
So make sure you check that section in Guide to Maintaining Roadworthiness and make sure your tyre policy aligns with that. So I would definitely do a cross-referencing audit process to make sure that that is in alignment. Certainly Flagship will be updating our policy pack to make sure that that does align with the Guide to Maintaining Roadworthiness. D1, driver license checks every 3 months with a risk-based check system. So if you're on a 6-monthly driver license check, that will be insufficient. You need to move to drivers having their license checked at least every 3 months, and then a risk-based check system for those with more points on their driving licenses. Okay, so a bit of an amendment for D1 there. And then D4 is the interesting one. D4, 10% margin for training is alleged to be being removed, which means it's 100% requirement for training or it's a fail. So that's a requirement for bronze, which is interesting, but also I'm being told the same for silver, which means safe urban driving, you're going to need to have 100% match rate unless there's some level of consequence around there not being that as well. So that's a big one there. There's a new practitioner module around decarbonisation that's being released that's related to in silver, and then in gold there needs to be a sustainable operations is being swapped for this decarbonisation strategy. There's a G7 requirement in gold around fleet transition to having a fleet transition policy around how we're transferring to alternative fueled vehicles, and an environmental impact engagement study to do as well to think about for that too. So lots of stuff to think about in the new version 7. Please do, if you haven't already and you're a FORS operator, go and have a look. If you're interested in having a chat with Flagship, see how Flagship can help with your FORS, please do give us a shout as well. We'd be more than happy to help you. We help our operators in numerous ways. If you're looking to get into FORS, we help provide the policies and the information you need and the training. We also help during the audit process as well. And then post becoming approved, we do the ongoing renewals and help support that audit process for you. So if you are interested in FORS at all, or you're already a FORS operator and you're looking at different consultants, do give us a shout. We'd be happy to help. Thank you very much for listening, and you take care, and I'll see you soon.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please share with your friends and colleagues too. Join us for free on Facebook with the Fleet Geeks community for transport and fleet managers. Fleet Geeks offers ongoing professional development, networking and mentoring too. So get in touch with me, Pete Rushmer, on any social media platform to find out more.